Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hey, in this video we're going to answer a question for you. Where should I live in Cambodia? There are many options, and each one has its own pluses and has its own minuses, and I'll kind of tell you about all those as we go along. But first I want to let you know that if you want to help support the channel, you can donate down below through PayPal or Ko-Fi.com. And if you choose to do that, I will send you copies of my books. I will also send you exclusive only supporter content, including my course, Live in Cambodia, which I'm working on right now. And that should be available hopefully by the end of this year or early next year. And of course, if you're a supporter and you're on my email list, you will receive that free just for donating. So be sure to check out those links. But alternately, if you don't want to donate and you just want to purchase one of my books, that's fine too. I have links down below for my book of short horror stories called The Things That Happen at Night. You can purchase that. And also my book, Live in Cambodia, a guide for living in the Kingdom of Wonder. That is available at a link in the description also. I also have 3 free short horror stories that you can read right now. Yeah, it won't cost you a thing. Over there on Wattpad, and I have a link down below for my Wattpad page. My story, all 3 stories are on there, and you can read them all for free, and I'll be adding more as time goes on. So go ahead, check out all those links. And if you like horror books, check out my other channel, Horror Reads, where every 2 or 3 days I upload a video to review and discuss the latest horror book I've read that I would recommend to others. All right. So, like I said, moving to Cambodia is a big decision. It can be a little stressful sometimes. You know how it is when you're trying not just to move, maybe across the street or on the other side of town or maybe to another state. You know, you're moving halfway around the world if you live in the West. And, you know, there's already enough stress. But where do you want to live? And like most things here, that is going to depend on what kind of lifestyle you want. Each place, each major city where you'll find, you know, other expats has its good points, and everyone has its, you know, down points, I guess you can say. I've lived in Siem Reap almost 5 years. I love it here, so of course I'm going to recommend it, but that's only because I know it better than all of these other places. However, I do have friends and people I know that live in all of these other cities, and the information I give you about these places are going to be coming from their experiences, not my own personal experiences. And if you've lived in any of these other places or you've visited, leave me a comment and let me know. You know, hopefully my information is accurate. I don't want to mislead anybody. But if there's something I got wrong, I'd be more than happy to correct myself. So I'm going to be discussing, of course, Siem Reap at the end, but also Phnom Penh, Battambang, and Campot, because those are the places I have friends and know people that have lived there or currently are living there. So let's start with the big one, Phnom Penh. Phnom Penh is the capital city of Cambodia. It is huge, it is big, it is busy, it is bustling. Tall skyscrapers, lots of traffic, lots of noise, lots of hustle and bustle that you would expect from a big city. But some people love that big city vibe. They love living in a thriving, kind of like a city that never sleeps kind of thing, like the New York city of Cambodia, I guess you can say. And, you know, a lot of people, they don't really like all that traffic, all those people. You know, they do have a lot of skyscrapers, so you don't really get the clear Cambodia sky, nature kind of vibe that you do in other towns. Crimes of opportunity are higher in Phnom Penh, of course, because you get more tourists, you get more foreigners, and you've got a lot more people. So they generally get, even though Cambodia is safe as a whole for travelers, tourists, and expats, there are crimes of opportunities, and most of those take place in Phnom Penh. You know, your phone gets snatched, your purse or bag gets snatched. Somebody riding by in a motorbike just snatches it right out of your hand, right from a tuk-tuk or something, and drives away. This kind of things happen there. I've heard that traffic can be horrible in some places, all the time. But especially during rush hour, where it could take you a long time if you're driving or in a pass app or a tuk-tuk to get from one place to the other. But let's focus on the good things. Because it's a bigger city, if you're coming here to teach, there are way more opportunities in Phnom Penh to find a teaching job than there are anywhere else. They just have a lot more schools. A lot more people means a lot more kids. A lot more kids means a lot more schools. You know, it's a never-ending loop. You got to have room for all the kids so they can get a proper English education there. And Phnom Penh always has international schools that are hiring teachers. And it's probably the easiest place if that's your purpose. There's also a lot more in the way of diversity of restaurants, nightlife options, and just a whole lot of different areas there where you can live, depending on what kind of lifestyle you're looking for. So there are more opportunities there, and there are more restaurants, nightclubs, cafes, and it's just a big, diverse, big, thriving city. A lot more upscale shopping, I guess you can say. And they also have their local Cambodian markets if you want to go there as well. Now, from some of the prices I've seen, most of the areas, the apartments and things are a little bit higher than they are in some of these other places, but that's the price you pay for living in a big city, I guess. So there is good and bad, but if you're into big city life and you love the hustle, and you just feel like that makes you, feel more alive, and you want the opportunities, you want the diversity, you want the amenities, then Phnom Penh might be for you. Moving on down to Battambang. Battambang seems to be a more laid-back place, very scenic. But I have heard, and like I said, this is coming from other people, that the expat community there, the foreigner community, isn't as tight-knit and not as close as they are in other places. You move to a foreign country, you tend to find people who come from your background, can understand your language, and you all hang out together. There's a whole expat community in these other places. But I guess Battambang, I guess you could say, would be the kind of place where if you just want to go and you don't want to have to worry about all that, you're not really interested in making close connections with other foreigners or expats, then that might be the place for you because it's not as tight-knit. Now, that's not to say, and I'm not trying to say, that people who live there or visit there are standoffish or they just hate everybody and they don't want to have anything to do with you. They're not necessarily mean, curmudgeonly people with they're not going to come out and yell at the kids to get off my lawn, But they're just not as tight-knit. There's not as many groups or clubs or people meeting up to explore different things. There are teaching opportunities there, not as many as in Phnom Penh, but they are available. I know people who have moved there too, specifically because they got offered teaching jobs. But from what I've heard, it's just not a close, tight-knit expat community. So if you want to live more local, I guess you can say, more like a local Khmer person, then maybe Battambang would be the place for you. Of course, because it's smaller, you're not going to have quite the range of different things that bigger cities would have. Western-style shopping, Western-style foods, availability for, Western food restaurants, things like that. There are some there, but they're not as varied and wide as in other places from what I've heard. But if you're into the slow, easy lifestyle, very scenic, without all the hassle of having to deal with other expats and groups all the time, I guess you can say, then Battambang might be the place for you. Campot is, of course, known for its world-famous Campot pepper. It's considered one of the best peppers in the world. And, of course, that's where it comes from, thus the name Campot pepper. I have a friend that lives there right now, Ed. Ed lives in Campot. He's very happy. I see his pictures on Facebook and whatnot, and it seems to be a very beautiful town, very scenic town. There's a lot of diversity there as far as, expats and locals. So that might be the place you want to go if you just want to chill. However, again, because it's smaller, you might not have the same range of restaurants, nightlife, movie theaters, and other amenities in the bigger cities. But they do seem to have a good little expat community down there, so it's not like Battambang where it might be a little bit more difficult to connect with people like yourself. But it's still laid back, it's still chill. But you just have to do without some of the options you would get in a bigger city. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And then, of course, we have where I live in Siem Reap. This is my personal opinion, and of course it's going to be prejudiced a little bit because I've lived here for 5 years, and everybody knows I love Siem Reap. But I think it's kind of the best of both worlds there. Because it's Angkor Wat is located here. None of the buildings can be higher than the very top of Angkor Wat. So you're not going to see big skyscrapers. You're not going to see monstrous buildings looming everywhere. You'll be able to see the open sky, and I really love the sky here. It changes so much each day during different parts of the day. It's very beautiful. And you can just look out your window and look up and see it without a big building blocking your view. But it's also big enough to have a really, really great variety of schools. If you are coming here to teach, you can find a teaching job here. It won't be as easy, probably, as Phnom Penh, but with a little bit of legwork, you'll be able to find a job here, teaching job, if that's what you want. And retiring here is great. You can live on a pittance, or you can live on a king's ransom if that's what you make, depending on your finances and your lifestyle, whatever you want. You can find, like I have, a $50 apartment, or you can find a $400 apartment. You can go to the Western style supermarkets, or you can go to the local markets. The choice is really up to you, and there's enough diversity here. In fact, the Wat Bo area of Siem Reap was just listed in a magazine as the 3rd coolest neighborhood to live in the world. So there you go. I lived there for 2 years. It's a great mix of expats and locals. A lot of amenities, a lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, a lot of places to go and chill, cafes and internet places, all that good stuff. And, of course, there's a lot of activities. People are always forming clubs and groups and, for expats and various interests and hobbies. So it's very easy to acclimate into the expat community here, and also it's very easy to make friends with locals. So you'll have a good variety of both, I think, in Siem Reap. I guess Sihanoukville should get an honorable mention. It used to be a place where people would go to party. It's a beachside town, a lot of beautiful beaches and crystal clear water, and just a place to go, and it was a party town. You go there and to let loose some energy. A lot of young people, a lot of backpackers like to go there. But I've heard that I don't know anybody that lives there currently, but I know in the last 6 to 10 years, it's really lost its luster and charm for a lot of people, from what I hear. Just these big, horrendous, boxy casinos and condominiums going up, taking up some of the beach property and some of the views from some of the other places, and a lot of corruption going on there. Crime is on the uptick, which is usually what happens when you get casinos, a lot of them. But like I said, I can't say anything. I don't know anybody that lives there right now, so I can't really speak on that. It's just what I've heard and what people have been saying for a long time, and I have no reason to doubt them since I've never been there. So I can't really say much about Sihanoukville. But there you have it. There are some possible places for you to live if you're thinking about coming here to Cambodia. Let me know down below which one you prefer, which one you think you'll be living in. And like I said, if you have any experiences from any of these places, whether you were here 10 years ago or just recently, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Like I said, if I'm wrong, I can admit it. And be sure to check out all my links down below. Like I said, you can donate through PayPal or Ko-Fi.com, and I'll send you copies of my books and all my exclusive stuff just for my supporters if you're kind enough to do that. You can purchase my books individually down below. Check out my free stories on Wattpad. And I got other channels down below that are blogging from this part of the world. Be sure to check those out. Great channels, great information. And I got all my social media down below. Join me on Twitter. Join me on Instagram. And all that good stuff. And check out my Facebook page. All right. From Siem Reap, Cambodia, I will talk to you guys in the next one.